Hey y'all, it's Z Infante, voiceover artist and host of Raise the Gain, a new YouTube series featuring interviews with voiceover artists from across the spectrum. I'm so excited that you've chosen to join us for episode 1, featuring Benni Latham, the fun-loving, wonderfully honest and thorough human being, but also voiceover artist who's best known for her work as Dot on Transformers Earthspark, a new Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus TV show that just dropped its second season on June 7th. Be sure to check it out ASAP. Benni's known not only for her work in voiceover, but also as a commercial artist, having been featured in commercials for AT&T, Geico, as well as alongside WNBA stars. She is the real deal. She grew up in Compton. She loves theater. She was inspired by I Love Lucy and Inspector Gadget. And she had an incredibly life-changing event happen when she was working as a TSA agent at LAX, the airport in Los Angeles, if you don't know. And there was a shooting in the airport, and she was faced with her mortality and faced with the realities of life, and decided that she was going to make a career shift very boldly and very bravely. So we have her now in voiceover and entertainment, and I'm so grateful that she's chosen this life, because she brings such an incredible energy, and I'm so looking forward for you to watch this. And if you do enjoy it, or you don't, check out the like and subscribe buttons. I appreciate any feedback that you have to offer. There'll be more at the end of the episode. Water. Okay, but I realize the conversation has already started, because I have been such a fan of yours, and I mean
honey.
that, I mean that on a professional level, but then I also mean that on the level of like heart to heart. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Of
Oh, that means
course.
so much.
I mean it
Oh, it
from the
really does
heart.
mean so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a huge, huge fan of yours. Not to sound weird, but ever since you were little,
Yeah.
I don't want to make it sound like I'm super older than you, but you started in the business so young.
Mhm.
And I got to watch you kind of grow up ish from afar ish. That sounds creepy, but I play your mom, so I can make it okay. But yeah, to see someone so young with that level of talent is so inspiring, and it's beautiful to see.
Thank you
And
so
to see how that
much.
talent has matured and grown into this amazing person that I get to partake with and get to like work alongside. It blows my mind, and I am thankful every single day that I get to do what I do with people that I admire so deeply. I really do. You are art. You are a walking, talking work of art. Period. The end. That's it. Yes.
Oh my gosh. This is okay. I am going to talk to you and about you nonstop this entire conversation. So for it to begin with you giving me so much love, I'm like, oh my God, it's a dialogue, right? That's what I want out of these conversations, out of Raise
Mm.
the Gain, is really highlighting each other and the work that we're doing, and the personal and spiritual and community connection that we have
Mm-hmm.
across the spectrum of voiceover artists, right? We're all doing different things. We're doing commercials, we're
Yes.
doing theater, we're doing TV, all of these things. And something that I've noticed about you and about what you have created is a life that is, you know, a dream come true, right? Like, can you talk to me
Yes.
more? Because we know from interviews with you before about what happened at LAX. There was a shooting in the building, and you recognized from that moment that the dream was to be pursued, right? Can you talk to me about that, like, emotional experience, however intimate you're willing to go and however comfortable you are in going that direction?
Oh gosh, sure. I believe that stories like this are meant to be shared. There's a reason why I survived. There's a reason why I'm still here. And it's to be confronted with your own mortality in a way that you weren't expecting. It's a constant reminder of how precious this life is and how fragile our lives are. That at any given moment, we could wake up thinking it's a normal day, and then something crazy happens, and now we're making these life decisions. It was almost as if once I realized that my physical survival was threatened, all bets were off. I recognized that I didn't belong in a place that made me feel like a number. I belonged in a place that allowed me to thrive as the biggest, brightest part of myself. And I've said this many times and it's proven itself true. I would rather live in failure than die with regret. And that was when I realized, like, I gotta see what I can do. I don't know how much time I have. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I do know what I love, and let me lean into that. I love performing. I love creating voices. I love engaging my imagination with other people with big imaginations. And what I love about animation is that it's aside from theater, one of the most collaborative art forms that we get to do as artists, right? Because it's not just about the voice acting. Somebody has to do these backgrounds, honey. Somebody has to mix these voices and these sounds. Somebody has to do the Foley. Somebody has to shape and design. Who the heck are these people going to look like? Somebody has to write the words, and all of us, and this is why I love the pandemic. I was able to squeeze out a little silver lining out of that crazy cloud that we lived in for the 2-ish years. We all did this from our homes. We did this without seeing each other face to face. We did this when we couldn't go into the studio. We had to figure it out and jerry rig something together so we can continue to create. We are all strangers, but we all became family under that circumstance. That's the power of art. It creates family out of all kinds of orphans. I love that for us. I love that we get to do that.
Ooh, I love that you put it that way in terms of, we are so connected through the distance, right? Like there's this brilliant idea of being online. Like when I record Transformers, it's with Christy and the whole team online. I'm in New York in a studio and I'm watching them bring the animatic. I'm watching them bring, that ADR work and seeing and hearing your voice, knowing that you've been in there and recorded with someone filling in the voice in the meantime. It is really cool to recognize, like you're saying, how many voices are being heard, not just in the recording sense, but in the development. And I realized our show has had this impact on so many people, a diverse background.
Child.
Yes. Oh. And you have spoken about this before and how important it is to represent, a person of color, a woman of dignity and grace, and wow. I'm wondering what it means to you as a person, period, to be able to play this role, play Dot in particular, because I do want to talk a little bit about Lackadaisy and get into what that experience was in a little bit, because
of course
we are recording this, everyone, on Transformers Day. It is Transformers Day.
It's Transformers Earth Spark Day.
That is right.
Season 2.
So as a person, what has it been like to hear from people, to learn through the process in terms of your identity?
Well, before I started really diving into the character of Dot, I had to figure out who Benni was first, because coming out of the situation that I came out of, leaving TSA, taking the classes I needed to take so I could be worthy of an agent and representation and going into this field, I dealt with a lot of imposter syndrome first. I still work through that. I'm going to own it and say it's still something I'm working on to this day, because I saw the names. I saw the roster before we did our table read, and I'm like, oh, mama, I'm in over my head. And I was afraid. We always talk about what happens when you shoot for the moon and you miss. We never talk about what happens if you shoot for the moon and you miss, but you land on a star. What do you do? What do you do when you actually connect with a piece of your dream and something actually, like, this is the real thing. Contracts have been signed. You have to show up now, Miss Benni Latham. You have to show up now. And so I had to do a little digging and ask myself, why do I even do this? And I thought of my grandmothers. And, I'm from Compton, California, born and raised, but my family is originally from the South. from Jackson, Mississippi, from Monroe, Louisiana. They left the South in the 60s to come to California for reasons. And they did all of that so that I could be born here at this specific place and time to do what I love. So I thought about what it must have taken for them to uproot themselves, much like Dot and her family did in the series, and what that meant, leaving their old life behind to create something new because of some, we don't know why Dot left. We know that she got a new job. She was tired. She was hanging it up, and her reasons were her reasons. But my ancestors had reasons too. And so I used my family history to sort of create and fill in the gap for the backstory so that I can make Dot my own. I can feel her in my body. So when the time came to speak about her on the mic, it didn't matter about imposter syndrome. This was for Louise Washington. This was for Ruth Foster Latham. These were for my grandmothers who walked this earth so that I can stand proudly and create this amazing character. So in order to create something new, I had to go dig through the old stuff and unpack the treasures and then create this whole new thing. It's kind of like how the Terrans have to figure out who they are now that they're half Earthling, but they have this Cybertronian lineage. How do you make the two work? And yes, it's a kid's show, and yeah, it's not supposed to be that deep, but so yes, it can. Why not?
Yes.
There's profundity and simplicity all the time. Common sense ain't nothing but genius and work clothes. Like, miss me with it has to be this elaborate. Oh, what happened?
I keep going. I just loved how you put that, the work clothes situation, right? Is that what you said? Can you say that again?
Oh, common sense is genius and work clothes. That's not mine. I read that somewhere, so don't quote me.
No, I thank you for spreading that and putting that out there, because I know that people watching are going to be moved by what you're saying and going to be curious more about what that means for themselves, for them as individuals. And I just want the people watching and listening to recognize that Benni is giving us an example of a path forward, right? Of a path through, right? Instead of trying to get around our obstacles, you have, and I wanted you to continue saying what you were saying, but I just want to make note that you are, it's the shoulders that we stand on, right? As you spoke of your ancestors, so will these kids and these adults who love Transformers, who have built a relationship with these characters and this world, who on the inside are that big kid loving watching, Bumblebee lead these kids. And it's like they can see themselves, I bet, in Bumblebee, right? They're like, it's that responsibility that is taken on as an elder.
Absolutely.
You have this way, and it's just this as what you've been for me throughout this process, as I've known you the last couple of years, is this just, and I don't want to say positivity only, but this force and this like I said, person of dignity and grace, because that's
bless you, honey.
Of course, because I'm wondering, I want you to speak more about where you were going, but I'm also wondering what you would say to an aspiring artist, someone who's like going through this, particularly with their work as an artist.
Oh gosh, be okay with being frustrated. Be okay with not having all the answers. Go easy on yourself. You're new. You're new. Doesn't matter how old you are, you're new. Give yourself a break. Go as easy on yourself as you would want someone to have gone easy on your 8 or 10-year-old self. Okay, and study to show yourself approved. That's scripture, but it also holds truth. If you really want to do this, if this is what you love, and whatever this is, it could be acting, it could be voice acting, it could be on camera acting, whatever this is, learn it, study it, make it a part of you. Align yourself with it, read about it, research people, study people that are proficient in it in the field. Take a couple of classes. And I know people have heard me say this many times, but it there's some merit in studying your craft. Talent alone is wonderful. Talent alone is a gift, but you won't know how to use that gift if you're not well versed in the fundamentals. All the voice acting magical goodness that you can do in the shower doesn't mean jack squat if you don't know how to use a mic properly.
That
Or
is
if you don't
truth.
understand proximity, or you don't understand dimension or depth or stage whispers or whatever. I decided to educate myself before I jumped into this with both feet, because I didn't want to make a fool of myself
Mm-hmm.
and possibly ruin other opportunities. Going in, well, I'm talented, I can read, I can talk, I can do the thing. Okay, yeah, try doing that line 400 times.
Mm-hmm.
400 times, and be
Yes.
okay with being, you know what I'm saying? There's all these other factors that come into this art form that a lot of folks may not be aware of or privy to, because they lack the experience. And the best way to do that is in a classroom setting, where if you mess up, you're not losing thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
You might,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you fail, this is another important thing too. Failure is not the end, it's a redirection. It's a redirection. I took dance classes. I learned that I am a mover.
Yes, yes, I
She's a
can
mover.
relate.
I am a mover. I need time to learn more technical choreography. If you give me a week, I can figure it out. But in that first 8, I
Mhm.
got the beginning and the end. The middle is where you lose me. But I learned that about myself. I learned that, okay, this is what I can do with my body. How do I make this work in my art? Okay, let me take some voice classes. I might have to sing one of these days, so I want to at least know that I can carry enough and do the bare minimum. What's my range? Okay, I can't sing that high because I'll sound crazy, and I can't sing this low because I'll sound like Cookie Monster. So let me find the nice happy medium. Learn about yourself and be okay with where you're at. It's as hard as it is, or as easy as it is. Everybody's different. But
Yes.
work with the instrument that you have and then go from there.
Mhm.
But please go easy on yourself, y'all. Y'all are new. And social
Mhm.
media will have you thinking that you are a failure if you're not a millionaire by 25 and got 5 kids by the time you're 30 and you're not making this much money. So, honey, the whole world is turned upside down. We're still trying to figure this out. Just because we have some years on us doesn't mean we always know what we're doing.
Oh, that
We
is the
don't.
truth. That is
We're
the truth.
new.
Mm-hmm.
We are so new to all of this. The world is constantly changing. Technology is technologying. And we have to figure out what that means for us as human beings. How much of us is on here and how much of us are right here? And where's the balance? So, yeah, we don't have it all figured out. But what we do know, we try to leverage to the best of our ability.
That was real talk. That was real talk. We have about 5 more minutes. And I just want to acknowledge and reflect on what you're saying about gentleness. And when I look at the world, when I look at what animation can be, it is this place of radical acceptance, radical diversity, radical representation, right? It's like you can
Absolutely.
be who you want to be. And something I'm recognizing more and more is like being able to play a non-binary bot, the first
Mm,
in the Transformers franchise, is like an honor, but also a lesson for me. It's like
mm,
I've learned so much from the fans and from my family who are learning, right? And
mm-hmm.
what I get from what you're saying is to continue to get to know who I am, that like
Absolutely.
looking, because so many people in this world, in this business, are like reaching out. I said this the other day, while I wept in front of my parents about, oh my god, the industry, blah, blah, blah. I was just saying to
Yeah.
them, like, I have been waiting for someone to hand me the keys to my car, and I no longer will sit in that back seat. I'm gonna hop. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hop into the driver's seat. I'm gonna have my God right next to me, my higher power, my that I call science, and I'm going to say, where are we going? You know what I mean? Where are we
That
going?
is such a
I'm gonna
Nightshade thing to say. I love that.
ah
Nightshade would totally be like, my God is science. Oh God, they cast us beautifully.
yes, yes.
I started watching season 2 at night because I am that person, and I have to say the way that the Malto family show up this season is just beautiful to see. I love to see how they're figuring out what this new family means, and hearing you talk about, I am just going to do this. And it's such a scientific approach. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you sound just like my baby.
Yes. Well, that is who we are. We bring ourselves to this. And that's what's incredible about the Transformers team as well, is I remember that audition and I was like wearing my eyeliner. I was like myself, expressing myself so that they could see who I am and the range of who I am,
Absolutely. Yes.
And I know, from what you've put online about how engaged you are with the community at the Nickelodeon studios, right? That like you have become like because you are human. I want to remember that you are human, but you have become
Oh,
this like
bless you.
this icon, and this beacon. There, that's the word. The beacon. A beacon of light and of honesty. You talk about have that throat coat tea, get there 15 minutes early, like do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself so that you can bring yourself forward. And that's gonna be the end of our time for right now, for this go around. But I want to,
Okay.
I just want to say to those listening and watching that we're going to continue to have these kinds of conversations where we expand upon how the industry is teaching us about ourselves, right? And what
Mm-hmm.
we can learn about ourselves through our art and through our creativity, more so. And I just want to
Amen.
thank you for bringing your ancestors, for bringing your present moment,
Mm.
and for recognizing that what we are doing with Transformers, what we're hoping to do with Transformers, is create a legacy. Legacy doesn't start when you're dead. Legacy starts right now. And the people who have joined us, the fans who have joined us on this ride, despite all
Mm-hmm.
odds, um,
Yes.
are you know here with us in this moment. That's what I want
Yes.
this interview series to be, is inclusive, not only in the sense of the different kinds of people who are watching, but inclusive
Right.
in the sense of you who are watching are a part of this conversation with us. I'm going to continue to
Absolutely.
invite questions from those who are watching. I'm going to continue to engage in a way like Benny has set this example of honesty, openness, and willingness. I want to give you the last word, Benny, in terms of, what if you could imagine a perfect future in the animation voiceover world, what would it look like?
Mm. Ooh, a perfect world. That's a really amazing question. A perfect world in animation looks like one where animation is seen as not just a medium for children. It's just seen as a medium, much like CG, much like live action. I believe that animation allows for a different kind of storytelling that can expand the imagination even further. We see the works of Hayao Miyazaki. We see the works of even Brad Bird with Iron Giant and the work that he's done at Pixar. Um, I think that the path forward is through more inclusion, more diversity, more different kinds of stories being told. Because once we all realize how much we have alike, that's when the fun can begin.
It is just beginning. And with that, I will encourage you, those of you who are watching, to say I love you to someone today, to recognize that we can create this more perfect future. I got that example from
Amen.
the Future Perfect Project, an incredible nonprofit that I'm going to talk more about throughout the time that we do this series. But thank you so much, Benny. Love, love,
Thank
love.
you. Yes,
And
yes,
let's
yes.
just continue this conversation offline. And for those of you who are wanting to know more, reach out to me at what's the email address? It's new. Raise the game show at gmail.com. I'll put all this info in another clip because I'm learning. You know what I mean? Learning. I love you,
Hmm.
Benny.
I love you, my darling.
So that was episode 1. What'd you think? What'd you feel? What was going on in your mind? How do you want to participate in the future? Let me know what thoughts, ideas you have, things that you want to learn about voiceover artists, because I want to make sure, as I mentioned in the interview, that this is an inclusive conversation, that you feel as watchers, as listeners, a part of the conversation rather than just a fly in the wall. You are sitting with us at the table. Okay. We welcome you. So Thank you so much for checking out the first episode of at Raise the Gain on YouTube. Please subscribe. We love you. Bye.